On today's show,
they've got a guy that's going to sprint to the football. They're going to hit somebody when they're on defense, and on offense, they're looking for contact, and they're going to get north-south real fast. So to even compete with them, you're going to have to get off the ball at a level that you've never done before.
While the winter sports are still buffering, but right around the corner, there is one lone high school sports in the state of Kansas that is still going strong in the fall. That's football, and we will lean in heavily to football on today's show. We'll sprinkle in a little bit of soccer as well. My name is Cole Reif. It is a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Kansas Sports Chatter. The guest today, we're just going to get a room full of Osage City football players. Just put them all in a room. Well, at least 6 of them. Reed Silver, Levi Punches, Austin Lamb, Lucas Gantenbein, Colby Fagan, and Quentin Stark will be with us here shortly. Mike Paramore with Perry-Lecompton football and Brent Hoelting with Pratt football will break down the 3A playoffs for the sub-state round. Aneth Morales, a soccer referee in Southwest Kansas, will join the show to get her side and her perspective of officiating soccer. Ben Mitchum, a scout for Prep Redzone Kansas, will talk about some 8-man football players that are still going, especially in the TVL. Also, Josci Buckley with Cowley College and from Maize High School will be our next level talents. And then we will close out the show with a radio highlights from Dusty Deines, a radio broadcaster out in Hutchinson. Speaking of the Cowley Tigers, best of luck to them as they go for another national championship at the NJCAA Division II level. And we'll have one of those Tigers on the show that is from Maize High School and Josci Buckley a little bit later on. Let's get things started. Bring in the Osage City football players. Just put them all in a room. They're our leadoff question today. It is today's leadoff question on Kansas Sports Chatter with Reed Silver, a member of the Osage City football team. Reed, any superstitions that you have on game days?
Thursday night before every game, I always shave my face. That's something I've always done. And then also before the game, before pregame on Friday, I always pray. I'd say those are my 2 superstitions.
So going back to the shaving, like when did you start that? Like when did that become a thing?
I don't know. I kind of just at the start of the season, I wanted to shave before the game, just look good, I guess. And ever since then, I've kind of just kept it going, and I've done the whole season. So
like, would it feel awkward, like if you had like some whiskers out there?
Yeah, with your chin strap, I guess. I don't know.
So, I mean, have you ever had any moments where you weren't able to get that shave in? Like, were there any games?
Not that I know of. I'm pretty sure I've shaved before every game, and on Thursday too. So,
any specific prayer that you do?
Not really. I always just pray for our team and that everyone is healthy. And then if we have anyone that is kind of hurt or that's got hurt, I always pray for them. And I just pray for. I just pray that we get another opportunity to go out on the field and play a football game, because those are great nights and great moments and memories to make. So.
That is Reed Silver, a member of the Osage City football team. It is our leadoff question with Levi Punches, a member of the Osage City football team. Any superstitions for you, Levi, before a game?
Yeah, before the game, I make sure in the morning to put on the same pair of underwear. I don't know, it's a weird superstition, but I always do it. And then before the game, I started this year, I go to the goal line, and I always say the same prayer.
All right, well, I got to ask, so immediately after the game, do you automatically make sure that pair of underwear gets washed?
Yeah, usually I don't just let it crust. So,
okay. Well, for you, when did you pick that out? When did that become a thing?
Last year.
Last year.
It's really weird.
And for you again, any specific prayer that you say at the goal line?
I always just started out with asking God to give me strength to get through the game, hopefully injury-free. I pray for all my teammates, and I pray for the captains this week that we can all be leaders on and off the field. And just we have our audience of one mentality this year, AO1. So I pray that we uphold that and that we all just be leaders on the field.
That is Levi Punches with Osage City Football. It is our leadoff question with Austin Lamb, a member of the Osage City football team. Austin, any superstitions you have on game day?
Every Thursday, I like to take what I call an everything shower, where I wash up everything, I shave everything. Got to get the hygiene right before a big game. And then I listen to the same song before every game.
This might be the cleanest football team out there. So, like, for you, like what started the shower thing?
We used to have a coach that would always say, look good, feel good, play good. So, I mean, when you feel clean, you're going to feel good and play good. So I'd say it probably started freshman year, really.
And what is the song that you play each game?
Murder on My Mind.
Okay. So what stood out about that song for you?
It's just kind of a song that I like to use to get my mind right,
That is Austin Lamb, a member of the Osage City football team. It is our leadoff question with Lucas Gantenbein, a member of the Osage City football team. Lucas, any superstitions you have on game day?
Yeah, I like Levi. I wear the same pair of underwear every game, and I also wear the same cologne on every game day. And I make sure to kiss all my dogs and say goodbye to them before every game.
Really? Okay, so I can see the dog thing just being a pretty common, but the cologne, when did that start and why?
It started this year. I have no clue how that started or why it started. I wore it for the first game, and then I just decided I'm going to do this every game, and I haven't not done it.
Which cologne is it? Do you know the name?
Not off the top of my head, I don't. I have a few.
So do you have a huge supply of this cologne just to make sure you don't run out during the season?
It's one bottle, but if I run out, I'll buy another one.
Very good. Lucas Gantenbein with our leadoff question from Osage City. It's our leadoff question with Colby Fagan, a member of the Osage City football team. Any superstitions for you, Colby, on game day?
Usually Thursday night, I'll shave my face right before the game day.
I feel like a lot of these Osage City players are shaving. Do you guys have a joint shaving session before games?
No, I don't think. Maybe we need to start.
We should.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, we'll buy you guys a bunch of razors. All right, so when did that start for you? When did that become a thing?
Probably sophomore year when facial hair actually started growing.
There you go. Are you actual electric shaver, or are you actually a razor blade guy?
Just an electric one.
Have you had any games where you weren't able to shave? Did you feel off?
There's been a couple, but yeah.
All right. Colby Fagan joining us with Osage City's football team with today's leadoff question. Today's leadoff question with Quentin Stark, a member of the Osage City football team. Quentin, any superstitions on game days?
Every Friday before the game during lunch, my mom makes me a hot ham and cheese sandwich. So done that for a couple of years. That's my superstition.
Does she actually bring it to school, or do you have it in a lunchbox that you take with you, or what?
No, we go home for lunch, so I just eat it at home.
Nice. So, does she know exactly what time you're going to arrive and have it ready?
Yep, yeah.
Is she the only one that can make it, or can anybody else?
No, it has to be her.
When did that start for you?
Probably my sophomore year.
Anything else that goes with, or you just have the hot ham and cheese?
Nah, just the ham and cheese.
Fair enough. Quentin Stark with Osage City with our leadoff question. A room full of Osage City Indians. Have to go to my list to thank all those guys. Reed Silver, Levi Punches, Austin Lamb, Lucas Gantenbein, also Colby Fagan, and Quentin Stark. Best of luck to them in their sub-state round coming up in Class 2A. KCMC Sports will continue to follow the Great Bend Panthers after that big win against Hayes High last Friday. Oh, yeah, the other rivalry game, Salina Central, they came out on top against South. So now the Mustangs of Salina Central meet up in Great Bend to take on the Panthers for the chance to get to the state title game. KCMC Sports will have the broadcast this Friday night at Memorial Stadium in Great Bend. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. You can tune in on the Huddle page and also go to the KCMC Sports Facebook page for the live stream. We will take a break. When we come back, we will be talking at 3A state playoffs. Brent Hoelting here in a little bit with Pratt High School help us preview the west side of the bracket remaining. Coming up next, it'll be Mike Paramore with Perry-Lecompton, as he has seen both the two teams that are still alive in Santa Fe Trail and also Topeka Hayden. Mike Paramore with Perry-Lecompton is up next.
Whether it's a Friday night football game or a Saturday Scholars Bowl tournament, there are many people behind the scenes to make these activities function. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who make these events happen for our students. Without school administrators, event workers, custodians, officials, transportation personnel, and office staff, these events would not be possible. Your hard work and dedication allow students throughout the state to participate in the activities that they love.
Welcome back on the show. It is time for football chatter as we get closer and closer to the semifinals or the sub-state round of the high school football playoffs. And today we're going to be breaking down the Class 3A state playoffs. And to help us out on the east side is going to be Mike Paramore. He is the head coach at Perry-Lecompton High School. Hey, Coach, appreciate you coming on. I mean, for this time of the year and for you, like that wind down process, what is the start of a off season like for you?
It's always a tough transition. I mean, you go from going 100 miles an hour and your weekends are pretty full of breaking down your game from Friday, then preparation for the upcoming week and who your opponent is. And then all of a sudden that just stops. And it's kind of a tough transition. I know my wife wishes I would have something to still do. She's like, why are you home right now? But no, it's always, it takes time to make that transition. And it's always fun when you have that chance to play deep into November.
Yeah, you had some good games there, especially later in the season. I mean, big part of why I wanted to get you on the show is that you've seen both these two teams that are still alive on the east side in Class 3A. Starting with that bottom half in 3A, we've talked about new teams that have kind of surfaced this year and especially made a run. Santa Fe Trail, tell me what you know about them and what you saw of them back in the first round.
A good, really solid football team. We played them 2 years ago in the playoff and were able to get a win on that one. I've known Coach Slade a long time, since he was down at Rose Hill, and a really good football coach, and knew he was going to do a great job when he got to Santa Fe Trail. They got a nice team, very balanced in what they do. I mean, obviously the quarterback makes them go, but they got some weapons around him and are very multiple in what they're doing offensively, and have put up big numbers all year. Offensively, they've been really good. And then defensively, they got a sound scheme in what they're doing. The kids run around, they fly to the ball. Just a really well-coached football team that's some kids have bought into the program, and they've done a nice job.
Is it a pretty experienced group? Do you remember looking at the roster as far as were there a lot of seniors on this year's team?
Yeah, we knew when we played them 2 years ago that they were going to be a dangerous team the next year because they were really young and had some good weapons and some nice athletes and doing some really good things scheme-wise, and knew that they were going to be a dangerous team. So, yeah, they were one we definitely had our eye on that you could catch maybe later on in the year and what they were going to be doing. So, very good football team, really versatile in what they're doing and are dangerous. Also in that sub-state round, a team that you played a couple weeks before that Santa Fe Trail team, Topeka Hayden, obviously kind of expected in 3A East once again to make a run, and they did that. What did you see from them a few weeks ago? Really good team, too. I mean, obviously, they're both in the semifinals. Good football teams are still playing this time of year. I think the thing that makes Hayden so dangerous, and we've played them a lot over the last 5, 6, 7 years, they're so multiple. They give you a ton of different looks offensively. I mean, you've got to be very sound defensively, defending everything from power run game to empty. And they do so many good things with that. The quarterback's a fantastic player. They got some great skill guys. They're tough up front. And boy, you got to defend everything when you play Hayden. When you're a team like Hayden and you kind of had those expectations year in, year out, how tough is it to just fully execute everything when you're kind of that expected team and then finally get to this point? Is that a challenge? I think, yeah. I mean, there's different parts that come at it, but when you're wearing the bullseye, that's a great challenge too. And to get, they always say that, climbing the mountain's easier than staying on top of it. And they've done a good job of being at the top of the mountain. They know they're going to take everybody's best shot. But they keep bringing cats in there that can play. They're extremely well coached. They're just a really good football team all the way around. Well, not asking you to predict a score or anything, but if you look at this matchup, just knowing that what you know about both these two teams and what you've seen, how do you see this one kind of playing out into the strengths and weaknesses? I think it's going to come down to, I think both teams can score points. They've both been very high-scoring offenses all year, to seeing who can go get a stop. I think, you hate to make a prediction, but I think Hayden's just so dangerous in what they do with everything. They've got a lot going on, and not that Trail can't defend that or better. I think Hayden's maybe the better football team going in, but it should be a really good football team. You're in the semifinals. Both teams have done some great things. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with physicality, and it should be a great game on Friday night.
If you're Santa Fe Trail coach, I mean, and at least from the outside, I know inside they have full belief in everything that they're doing this Friday night, but from the outside, that maybe people perceiving them as the underdog. Is there anything that you do when you approach this game to maybe try to give you some extra advantages when you are kind of going up a big giant like Topeka Hayden? Anything specific you can do in the game?
I think that's a fun place to be in when, just the guys in your room, we talk about we're going to circle the wagons and we're going to take care of each other. And it's fun that nobody maybe believes in you to have that chance. And it really rallies your guys and you pull together, and it's us against the world mentality. And it kind of puts a chip on your shoulder and you want to go prove that you belong. So I think they're in a great situation. Just watch the Hoelting game online and you could see their physicality, and I'm sure they heard all week about Hoelting and their physicality. Well, they wanted to go match that, and they certainly did on Friday night and had that chip on their shoulder and did some great things and got a great win.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time and the insight as well.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on. It's fun talking football.
I love it. Mike Paramore, the head coach of Perry-Lecompton, helping us break down the 3A East semifinals. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time now to continue to break down the 3A state playoffs as we get ready for the sub-state round. And to help us out with the segment will be Brent Hoelting. He's the head coach of the Pratt High School football team. Hey, Coach, another successful year for the Greenbacks. You guys go 9-2, and in that 9-2 record, a 9-game winning streak, make it to the state quarterfinals in 3A. For you, as you're winding down, what stood out to you that kind of really that you enjoyed about this year's team and made another successful Greenback program?
Yeah, I thought the improvement we made, from game one, and you watch us against Hutchinson, and they're obviously a really good football team. Both teams we lost to are still undefeated and still in it. But I thought this group, the improvement that they made throughout the year, their commitment to getting better. We had a lot of new kids. I think, starting out week one, we had 2 kids in the same spot they were in the year before. So I thought our improvement, our kids' willingness to work and get better every day and practice, how tough our kids were. We fought through a ton of injuries at the end of the year, and they kept trying to play even if they couldn't practice. So it was a fun year. You never want it to end, but very fun, rewarding year with some really good kids.
Well, as we look at the 3A bracket on the west side, including that top half of the west side, Coach, you look at Andale, the team that you just faced in the state quarterfinals. They move on to the semis. For you, when you break down Andale, I think everyone's aware of just, their presence in Class 3A. But where does it start for you when you're starting to break down Andale?
Well, you start with number 15, their quarterback, Sam Harp. I mean, he's a stud. For my money, probably the best player in 3A. He's a really, really good football player, does everything for them. And then they're just so fast and physical everywhere. I think they're not overly big, but they have 11 guys that are going to hunt every play for some contact. They're very, very physical. They get off the ball extremely hard. Credit to them. They have such depth, and their coaches do a good job of getting them in position to make plays. And whoever they sub in, they've got a guy that's going to sprint to the football. They're going to hit somebody when they're on defense and on offense. They're looking for contact, and they're going to get north-south real fast. So to even compete with them, you're going to have to get off the ball at a level that you've never done before, and you're going to have to be very, very physical and be able to sustain it for 4 quarters.
Just that scheme from Andale, what is the strategy going in to even try to, we talk about their athletes that they have, but just the scheme that they run, what's the strategy going in against that type of a style of play?
They snap it so fast, they get up to the line. So it's really hard to simulate that in practice with young kids. So you got to get your kids down. And I think the big thing to be able to do that is you got to play with leverage against them. And you've got to get them stopped before they get started. They send so many guys to the point of attack that you have to plug it up and make it bounce or make them shuffle their feet and not get downhill. The first guy's really got to take on blocks, and it's really hard because they got so many and stand their ground, and you got to force them to plug the hole up and to bounce or to be kind of stuffed with the number of blockers. Because if you don't do that and they can get through the hole and get downhill, they get up to speed so fast that even if you tackle them, it's a 7-yard gain every time. So I think the big thing is you have to stop them at the point of attack. And I think it's the same way defensively. They're going to play that too high safety. They take away big plays. You got to be able to throw underneath, but you got to be able to protect because they get off the ball so fast and so physical that sometimes you start seeing ghosts. You get rattled because they're in your face all game.
You look at the other side, Coach, and I know you didn't face Rock Creek this year, but they took on a few CKL teams, obviously played a Cheney team that you faced earlier this year, and it's similar to your Pratt program, just kind of been a constant in 3A here the last few years.
Yeah, Coach Sieben does a great job there. From everything I know, I've watched just a little bit of them. Really good passing attack. They got a really good defense. Their defense has been great all year against everybody. So, and I know they turned over Cheney. Looking at the stats, it's very similar to our game in terms of defensive stats. I think we won 24-7, so we scored a little more, but the defensive stats were very, very similar in terms of total yardage. They are fast. I think they get after it up front on the defensive line, and they really run. So, being interesting to see if they can hold up against the pressure that Andale applies. That's same for anybody, but they've had a great season, and Coach Sieben does a great job there.
When you start making these runs in the playoffs, I mean, you talk about that intensity of the ball game, but how do you try to control those emotions when you go into these big matchups, whether it's a first round game or a semifinal game?
Yeah, I think you just got to play your game, and I think that's hard. And our kids talked about that. We talked about it all week, and I still don't know that we were perfect at it. Going into Andale, they have the fireworks show, and you see 100 guys on the sideline and 13 coaches, and you know what you're in for. And I think managing your emotions, any game. We had some big ones. Hugoton was a really good football team that we happened to run across in the second round. I think you have to manage the passion that you're going to play with, not get too hyped up and not do things that you wouldn't normally do. You just got to go play your game. When everything boils down to it, when the whistle blows, it's still the game of football. So I think you got to get that mentality. And, we preach next play mentality a bunch with our kids. Like whatever happened the previous play, good or bad, bury it. Go play the next play as hard as you can. And I think that's what you have to do to be successful.
I've said this, and I think a lot of people have said this about Class 3A year in and year out, that I think it's the most exciting classification, especially on the west side, because you get first round matchups that are really juicy. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Sometimes you get classifications that it takes to get to the quarterfinals before you kind of get one of those contested matchups. How much, I guess, fun, and I know it's a challenge as well, but how much fun is it competing in Class 3A?
Yeah, we talked about it, and obviously Andale's they're the king until proven otherwise. But if you look at, it's funny, you look at the rankings or look at, I know Max Preps does a power rating. I think 8 of the top 9 or 10 teams in the state were in the West most of the year. It is incredibly competitive. There are some really good football teams that didn't make it out of the first round. Scott City, Clay Center obviously had to play, and we had to play Hugoton. Chaparral was a really good football team. We had a really tough district. Wichita Collegiate had athletes all over. They had some injuries at quarterback this year, but they're a really dangerous football team. So I think it's one of those that you can never let your guard down. And that's fun. That's fun. You want to compete. I told the kids, no one remembers when you win 60-0. It's the games that you're playing really good teams that everybody remembers. And those are the games you want to play in. So I think 3A affords that opportunity every year. And I also think it's something you can point to your kids in the off season and say, hey, listen, if you don't get ready in the weight room and you don't get ready at a high level, you're going to get your butt kicked. So you better do things right in the off season to compete.
Coach, really good stuff, and I appreciate your insight.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
That is Brent Hoelting, head coach of the Pratt Greenbacks, helping us break down the 3A West semifinals. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. It is Stripes and Whistles with Kansas referees on a Kansas Sports Chatter. Our opportunity to talk with different officials and referees in a variety of sports throughout the state and kind of get their perspective on the sports and different calls throughout the season as well. Aneth Morales joining us, a soccer official in Southwest Kansas. And I appreciate your time and coming on the show. For you, like, why officiating? What got you inspired to be an official?
Thank you, Cole. It's a pleasure to be spending some time with you today. You're right. I'm in Southwest Kansas, and that's what got me involved with sports. I would say initially the foundation was me playing sports through high school. I went to Dodge City High School, and then one of my professional roles took me to Liberal High School, where I was an advisor. And it's kind of a funny story. I'll tell you basically how I went down. The former athletic director there, and I'll give him a shout out. Kerry Miles was like, "Hey, I need an official for basketball this Thursday. You're on." And I'd never officiated before, but he knew that I had played basketball, being in the WAC conference and everything. And I remember I just learned as much as I could in those 2 to 3 days, got my uniform, and then that was pretty fun. So then I kind of transitioned over to soccer more. And it's been about 3 years, I believe, that I've been an official for soccer. I might pick up basketball again. We will see.
Well, you talk about, knowing the game and playing it as an athlete when you were a student. But when it comes to actually being the official or the referee, like, what was the learning curve for you just to make sure you knew all the ins and outs of the sport?
Yeah, definitely. I would say anybody that is willing to put in the work can be a referee, even if they don't have the background in playing the sport themselves or it's been a while. It certainly helped me, though, having that firsthand knowledge of the game and having been coached very well through basketball and soccer. But it's not the same, right, to know the technicalities and the mechanics of being a good official. So there's a lot of information that we receive to familiarize ourselves with the rules and what they're called and the terminology. And it's really a matter of being disciplined and also reviewing those, coupled with shadowing or just throwing yourself into new opportunities whenever possible. And one thing that really helped me transition over to that role was helping with middle school matches. They're shorter, there's more of them, you have more teams, more middle schools, and it took the pressure off a little bit where I could apply like the rules that I knew and then the rules that I had learned, and just kind of created new connections in my mind. And then I personally am really big on mechanics, whether I'm an assistant referee or the main center referee. So just a matter of studying and reviewing what you can and talking to other officials really helped.
We talked with Gordy Wetmore, an official in the eastern part of the state, soccer official, and we were talking about the offsides rule with him. Is there anything more challenging as a soccer official? Like, what stands out to you as maybe some of the more challenging aspects of officiating a soccer match?
That's a great question. It's to be officiating, it's a period where you're everything from your physical health to your mind is completely devoted to that task at hand. So I don't really think about what's the most difficult thing in the moment. I just, push through, but because it's just the nature of the game. But I would say the most difficult part would just be that when you're on the field, there's many things happening. And as at the beginning of my career, and I still am a pretty young official in my opinion, I would get caught up on like calls that I thought I should have made, or maybe didn't blow my whistle quick enough. But you learn very quick that there is no time to stay back in that moment, like the ball is moving. So again, that comes with discipline and confidence and practice. But that can become a difficult thing to manage, especially when you get into more varsity level matches and more talented players. It's just prioritizing like the task at hand and also not getting hung up on calls. I would lose sleep like the day after. I'm like, dang, I need to review that or talk that out with someone, but you really just got to keep going.
You mentioned like kind of talking that out with somebody. Does that help a lot? Because I mean, I feel like that's true in any profession where if you can talk with your peers a little bit. So do you have like conversations with other soccer officials to kind of, pinball things off each other?
Yes, definitely. And we really should be having more. But just the nature of the fact that being an official is not anybody's main role. We kind of, again, move on to our regular jobs after a match. But we do try to visit things or go over things with each other. As early as the pregame talk, we'll discuss what we know about teams, what we can remember if we've officiated them before, as far as like their sportsmanship, coaches in whether they might engage a lot or try to have discussions with you or not. And then at the end of the game, at halftime too, we'll review some questions that we both had, make sure we're on the same page. But overall, there are a few officials that I will connect with to just get their perspective on things. Sometimes I won't even tell them what call I made. I want to see what call they would have made in that situation. But there's so much context, so it really helps to talk it out with your crew that is there first. But yeah, that is helpful, especially when you start overthinking, and that is something that you just need to unlearn to do. You cannot overthink on the field. But yeah, we have a lot of great referees all across the state that we could be doing more of that for sure, but it helps.
Very much so. Hey, Aneth, appreciate your time and great insight on the officiating world.
Thank you, Cole. Have a great day.
You too. That is Aneth Morales, one of the soccer officials for the state of Kansas. That'll do it for Stripes and Whistles with Kansas referees. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. It is time for football chatter on the show, and to help us out with the segment, we'll bring in Ben Mitchum. He is a scout for Prep Redzone Kansas. Hey, Ben, appreciate you coming back on the show. You've been busy going around the state, and what's really nice about that, I feel like you've had a great experience of seeing a variety of teams and a lot of teams as we start to narrow down those teams as we get further and further into the playoffs. For you, let's start out. You kind of noted like the Twin Valley League. They got some big-time players and especially a lot of really good quarterbacks this year.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on once again, Cole. Yes, you're definitely true. I mean, the quarterbacks in the Twin Valley League, the TVL, they're kind of a different makeup than what most people are used to for quarterbacks overall. They are very much more like running backs that are quarterback arms. I mean, other than Wes Anderson from Frankfurt, who's about 6 foot tall, where you have like Wyatt Detweiler from Axtell or Kedrick Cohorst from Hanover, or a Keisler Adaman from Clifton Clyde. They're no more than 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10", 170-something pounds. I mean, they're well built. They are running backs. So these TVL schools, they pretty much get in these spreads, 2x2, 3x1, maybe have a running back in the backfield, but they really don't hand the ball off to the running backs very often other than for like speed options. So it's very heavily speed option, very heavily quarterback draw, and then they'll wean it all over the place. But it's very interesting to see that these dynamic dual threat quarterbacks, where they're not big 6'2", 205-pound quarterbacks, kind of like like an example, like a Trenton Sharts from Ellis, who's more prototypical size, big quarterback, big arm, who can really move still. But these are much smaller quarterbacks. So it's very interesting to kind of see how the game of 8-man has kind of moved into that direction in the 21st century.
When you talk about 8-man and you look around the states as far as leagues that are going really, really well, I mean, TVL, I mean, you talk about year in and year out for 8-man football, it's right up there. I
mean, an example in the 8-man 2 East Division side, the Final Four are all TVL.
Yeah.
And everything. You have, I believe, Axtell's playing Frankfurt again, and Hanover has Lynn. So they are really good. I mean, you have somebody like Frankfurt that probably has 3-4 losses, but it's kind of one of those Bishop Miege EKL type situations where you have to understand they are going to have losses because there are other excellent teams in that league. I mean, like I brought up Dahman from Clifton Clyde, who lost earlier a couple rounds ago in the playoffs to Little River. Still another really good program. So they're definitely very battle tested in TVL.
Well, as if you've gone around the state doing the rest of your scouting, Ben, who are some other like 8-man football player names that we need to know if we don't already?
Well, I'll just bring up some of these kids that I've seen throughout the season on a personal level. I mean, of course, beginning of the season in the Jamboree there in Ellis, I saw, Hoxie, Ellis, Wichita County, schools like that, Victoria. I mean, I guess I just saw like Wichita County, you have a Castagnan. He's another one kind of like those TVL quarterbacks. Not the tallest, more of a running back, still can throw. But Trenton, like I brought up, Trenton Sharts from Ellis is really good player overall. Victoria, of course, you have Weston Shearer. He's going to go back-to-back years over 1,000 yards rushing. He is a load. I mean, he is a big back. He's kind of a rare situation where Victoria will still play predominantly out of the I formation. They will spread it, but Shearer, they'll give him the ball. But some other kids to keep an eye on, kind of like Hill City. They have Tate Baltazar and Tyler Ashball. Jackson Smith, their receiver, that's a sophomore, but both Ashball and Baltazar are seniors. Not very big kids, really athletic. But some other kids, like what Hill City just faced, Oxford, junior Logan Gaither, kind of more like Weston Shearer from Victoria, bigger kid, about 6'2", 200 pounds. He'll be one of the better 8-man kids in the state next year, along with like Trenton Sharts from Ellis. Another team, Little River. Little River has plenty of really good players. Jaron Garrison, Jet Ewert, Jackson Conan, the Schubert kid. Pretty much they have like 4 backs, kind of quarterback, running backs, that have like over 400 or 500 yards rushing. So they're very dynamic. I mean, so there's a lot of really good players I've seen throughout the football season. I'm sure I'm missing some. But yes, the thing about 8-man football is these kids don't necessarily have to be very big, just how the game of 8-man is in general, but they are very dynamic, very athletic, a lot of fun to watch.
Hey, Ben, good stuff. If anyone needs to, get up to date with your content with Prep Redzone Kansas, where do they need to go?
You can pretty much go on, just Google or anything. You can just type in Prep Redzone Kansas, and it'll bring you to the website and everything for the link to get on to Prep Redzone, the Kansas aspect. I mean, they actually give you the option for whatever state that you want to follow, but just click on the Kansas link, and that should take you to Kansas. So, I mean, like for myself, I do the weekly updates the leaderboard for 8-man kids all across the state, Western Kansas 11-man, of course, scouting reports on respective kids in either of those two fields, Western Kansas 11-man or 8-man. Also, I pretty much during the season do that showcase game write-up.
Hey, Ben, appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your postseason.
Thank you, Cole. Take care.
That has been Mitchum with Prep Redzone Kansas, one of the scouts, and that'll do it for Football Chatter.
Referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. These men and women take time out of their lives to ensure a safe and fair environment for student athletes. As you attend sporting events this year, keep in mind the hard work and dedication of the officials. Respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we can teach our students. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who take the time to officiate our competitions.
It is time for our next level talent segments on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to talk to former high school athletes from the state of Kansas that are now competing at a college or university in the state of Kansas. And joining us today on the show is going to be Josci Buckley, a member of the Cowley College volleyball team and out of Maize High School. Hey, Josci, appreciate you coming on the show. For you now, a couple of years removed from high school, but take me back to Maize High School and what it was like competing for Maize.
It was always fun. Like, we had fun and we didn't take things too serious. And my senior year was a great representation of that. We moved to 6A, so we were expecting harder competition, obviously, but it was also a higher chance for us to get into state. And we got to sub-state and we played Lawrence Free State, and they were expected to win, but we just put pressure on them and we were able to win sub-state and go to state my senior year. So it was very fun.
Talk about that sub-state a little bit more. Do you remember anything about that match?
Yes. So they had 2 D1 girls, I believe. They're outside and they're libero. And I know our main goal was to force that outside to make errors. And that's what we did the second set, at least. She was starting to struggle. She did get a few kills, but we really forced her to make some errors, and it was just fun because we caused her frustration. And
yeah,
the point of it, you got to shut down the big ones. So it was good.
Competing at Maize, I'm sure you saw a lot of really good talent throughout the season, in the regular season as well. But when you are facing those teams in high school that have, maybe someone that's already signed at a high level, what is that like as a fellow athlete?
I take it as a little competition, because Maize South was another big one that had a bunch of D1 girls on their team. And I just was like, this is a time to shine in a way. We took it more as let's rise to the occasion, because let's see how good they really are, and we always played good against harder teams, I think. So that was good.
Looking at your bio on Cowley College's website, did swimming all 4 years. How much did you like swimming? And was there any, conversation of doing that at the college level?
Yes, I did. I did look at a few schools for swimming as well. I had never swam before until my freshman year of high school. And I wouldn't say I was great, but I wasn't bad. And I learned really fast, and it kept me in shape for volleyball too. It made me so much stronger. And then my sophomore year is when I actually qualified for state in a relay. And then every year after that, we ended up making it to state. And I swam one of the hardest events, in my opinion, butterfly. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Butterfly. Yes, I did that, and I did pretty well in it, actually. So I'm very thankful for my swimming years. It has definitely made me a harder worker. So
you still got some years of eligibility if you want to switch over to swimming anytime.
Yes.
So for you at Cowley College, what went into your recruitment and deciding to go to Cowley now in your second season?
So when I came on a visit here 2 years ago, everybody, they had just won the national championship, obviously. And then everybody just, they had the winning mentality. And that's what I was looking for, because sometimes on previous teams, you'll have a few players who are just like, oh, I'm kind of just here to play, you know? And I was always the player that was like, I want to win. I want to keep getting better. And I could tell that is what was going to happen here if I came here. And that's why I committed.
When you arrived at Cowley and freshman season, and then Cowley goes undefeated, gets the national championship as well. Like when you're around just trying to, get acquainted with all the new players and just a new team and a new format, what was that experience like for you and kind of the learning curve of just kind of settling in?
It was definitely nerve-wracking at first, but our team was big on like being mentally tough, and we worked on that. Like the whole first week before we even start like preseason training here, we're doing mental training, trying to build our game mentally. And with that, you also are building your connections on the team. And so I knew everybody on the team had my back, which was what helped me throughout my freshman season.
I mean, going undefeated. Okay, so not very many teams can say they accomplished that. It's like when you sat back after the end of your freshman season and just kind of realized what your team was able to do. Does that sink in?
It never really sinks in, honestly. It's still kind of like we never lost a game, really. Like right. I'm kind of like, wow. But when you're in the moment, like playing all the teams you're playing, you're like, you kind of just hold yourself to a standard, and that's what we did, and it's what allowed us to accomplish the things we did.
What is a typical practice like at Cowley? Like, give me the kind of the mood or the feel of a practice at Cowley.
Cowley practices, they're very like, we're there to get work done. So we do the fundamental stuff. We do serving and serve receive every single practice, like for 30 to 45 minutes every single practice, because as Coach Graham has said before, I don't know if you've heard him say this, volleyball is a serve and pass game. And that's how it is going to be against any competition. Who's going to serve better and get them out of system, and who's going to pass to allow their team to be in system. So we do that. And then we do some like drills, like what the other team would do to us, like, because we watch film. So we'll see what they would do to us, and we'll practice that. And then we do a lot of playing as well, because that just allows your blood to get flowing and realistic like situations.
Josci, appreciate the time.
Yes, thank you so much.
That is Josci Buckley, a member of the Cowley College volleyball team and out of Maize High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. Tuesday's show of Kansas Sports Chatter just about done. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, and you don't want to miss Thursday's show. There's going to be a lot of guests, and I mean that's the point of this show. Kansas Sports Chatter was created to jam it full of as many guests from around the state as possible, and we keep the flow going. But Thursday, it is jam packed. A lot of special guests. You don't want to miss Thursday's show right before the state semifinals in high school football. It's going to be a fun one with a lot of new guests as well coming up on a Thursday show. To close out today's show, Dusty Deines, he's been at it for a while, radio broadcaster out of Hutchinson, and he has our radio highlight to close out the show. Enjoy.
Caver takes the snap, has time, throws over the middle. Grossner's wide open, and he dives and makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Swedes. We're tied at 41 apiece with 11:29 to play in this ball game.